Number one independent computer repair company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, Papillion, Des Moines, and across the country via the Schrock desk. This is Compute This.
Good morning, folks, and welcome into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. Big Voice Man told you about the 4 locations where you can get help with your computers. Of course, all those locations are open Monday through Saturday. The Des Moines location is kind of a specific anomaly still. It's kind of, I was joking around the other day. We had our monthly meeting, and of course, we couldn't have anyone there from Des Moines because there's only, a couple people that work there. And I'm like, we're still on pandemic staffing in Des Moines. What's going on here? It's like I give my staff a deadline of August. By the end of August, I want to be fully staffed in Des Moines and open regular hours because it just takes a lot of time on the radio to say we're open Monday through Saturday from 10 to 8 and Sunday from noon to 5. Unless you live in Des Moines, then it's Monday through Saturday from 10 to 6 and closed on Sunday like Chick-fil-A. So, and your computer is going to break every Sunday. Just like sure as you want chicken on a Sunday afternoon, your computer's going to break in Des Moines on a Sunday. 402-558-1110 is the number to join us locally here on the program. If you're outside the metro area, 888-250-2091. I'll pick up the dime for you if you want to call into the program. As we do every week, one lucky caller will win themselves a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. Good for anything their heart desires. Over at the Service Center, you can apply it toward anything you want, hold it on account. Do whatever you like with it. It's yours to spend as you see fit. And all you have to do is be a part of the program. You see, the callers make the show. And last week, we had a lot of calls. It was a great show. I had show prep that I didn't even get to last week because I think the final story we were going to talk about, I didn't even get to it because we had so many calls. And I would much rather help people who are calling in and looking for answers for questions or sharing stories and just having good conversation than, tell you, well, today in the news, You can get the news anywhere, We try to deliver it with some fervor, of course, but you can get the news anywhere. And I've got some news for you today that's going to be pretty interesting on the program. Speaking of which, we are broadcasting live. Facebook.com/Schrock Innovations is where you can watch the program if you prefer to watch your radio. It's much more interesting than staring at it on the table. You can watch it there, Facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. Also, we are, of course, available at SchrockInnovations.com with all of our previously recorded shows and After Schrocks. The After Schrock is a little show that we do after the main program here. It's only on Facebook, but if you don't do the Book of Faces, we save the video and we post it on Rumble and everything else. Well, just Rumble now. We stopped posting it on YouTube. We're starting to take victory laps on everything we've been saying on the Aftershock for the last few years about, masks and vaccines and all that stuff. And YouTube still has policies against, being right. So, that was pretty punny. I didn't even catch that. But anyway, so we didn't want to endanger our YouTube rating for our normal content. So we only post the Aftershock on Rumble now. So it's like the video that YouTube doesn't want you to see. That's the Aftershock. Happens after the program here. But in the meantime, guys, today on the show, we've got some pretty interesting and unusually consequential things to talk about today. And when I say unusually consequential, we try to keep it light on Compute This. We're here for the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. We're here to tell you about all the cool things that Schrock can do to help you with your technology. All the things you should be doing to make sure you're getting the most from your technology. You're getting the most value. You're getting the most longevity and the most performance from it. And then, of course, there's things like, I'm going to tell you here on the program today how you can get $8 from Google. When's the last time Google sent you money? $8. You can get $8 from Google. You just got to fill out a form. Class action lawsuit. See, they stole your personal data back in the day when you were using Google search. And so now you get $8. Now they're going to buy you a cup of coffee to make up for it. And you have to fill out a form with some personal data, but it's not really any concern because Google already has that data because they stole it. So you may as well get your $8 cup of coffee and, at least then Google can say, see, we're not evil. We gave you coffee, So yeah, we'll post the, maybe I'll just do it right now. I'm going to grab this link. This is the link where you can go fill out your class action lawsuit form. It took me maybe 2 minutes to do. But you can fill this out and get yourself an $8 cup of coffee courtesy of Google. So there you go. There's the link there posted in the show notes here at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations for the Refer Hague settlement .com Google settlement offer. Can't even say it. It's an awful URL, but maybe that's what they intend. Maybe I'll get $9. I shouldn't be telling other people. Maybe my share goes up if fewer people fill it out. I don't know. But pretty much everybody used Google between 2006 and 2013. I mean, it was really the search engine, right? So I mean, everybody used it. It's like you have to click a box that says I certify that I used Google between 2006 and 2003. Pretty sure I did. So we got some consequential stuff today, guys. That stuff was enough to get your blood riled up just by itself. People stealing your personal data. It's even worse when you give away your personal data for free and somebody else sells it to somebody else. And it's even worse than that when the person buying your data is the United States government. And we're going to get into what kind of data is out there about you. What kind of data have all of the government agencies, like literally all of them, purchased about you? Why are they so concerned about you? And of course, all this data, when it's collected, everyone tells you this data is anonymous. How is it becoming de-anonymized and then linked to other publicly available data to build a complete profile on everything you do, everything you like, everything you watch, everything you spend money on, every place you go, every person you talk to? Because that's what it's doing. And because, no outrage segment is complete, without giving you, I have to give you something to do. Otherwise you just get all stirred up and you might go down to the Capitol building in March or something and then go get arrested. Something bad could happen. So I have to give you some course of action, some way to vent your righteous hatred of the system. So we're going to tell you what you can do to leave fewer breadcrumbs on the trail. If you're giving away your personal data, do you always have to give away your personal data in order to do what you need to do? The answer is no. Now, it might be really convenient. Life is a lot easier if you just click I accept to everything. Just say yes. Wasn't there a movie about that? A guy just said yes to everything and his life was awful. It's like, just say yes and you're fine. If you don't click accept to everything, you can actually restrict some of this information from getting out on the internet and getting out to these data brokers and getting in the hands of anyone who has the money to buy it. So it's an important segment we're going to talk about. Also, speaking of important segments, the government's buying all your data, aggregating it, de-anonymizing it, knows everything about you, and then they lose it. Where did I put that data on Schrock again? Oh, we put it in the iMoveit folder. Oh, and we moved it straight to the cyber thieves over there in Russia, that the ransomware guys. Son of a biscuit. I hate it when that happens. Multiple federal agencies taken down, multiple big-time businesses taken down. So we're going to give you some updates on the iMoveit data breach, what happened, why it's important, and how it could have very easily been prevented. Also, the thing we didn't get to last week was that Schrock's lowering its data recovery prices. So unless you guys call in enough times to push that off the end of the like the little monkeys in the bed thing, unless you each roll over enough times to push that monkey out of the bed, we're gonna talk about those lower data recovery prices this week for sure. 402-558-1110, 888-250-2091. One thing I do want to mention today is we try not to change our product lineup mid-year in the middle of a catalog after we've printed a catalog, because that obviously is very wasteful. However, it came to our attention that there was an opportunity to upgrade a particular model, the Gallant laptop. It's our high-end laptop. Because you pay a premium price for it, we kind of feel like if there's a more premium model that we can provide for you at the same price, we should do that. Asus released a new model of the base for that laptop that we use to build it. The new Gallant laptop is amazing. It's going to be a significant upgrade. The catalogs are going to all have the lower specs in it until we run out of catalog. We're not going to print new catalogs just to say, new and improved. Maybe we could do like that car sales thing where we draw a line through the price and then we write a new price above it on every catalog. Maybe during downtime I can have people do that. Have you done these catalogs yet? But we're not going to mess with the catalogs. We're going to leave them alone. And it's like you're going to buy the Gallant and you're going to get a bonus. And what is the bonus? The bonus that you're going to get in your Gallant is you're going to get a full generation faster Ryzen processor than what was coming in the previous Gallant. And it's going to be a Ryzen 5 instead of a Ryzen 3. So not only is it a higher grade, faster processor overall, it's a different class of processor. It's a current gen processor. It's now the current generation because Asus just released a new generation of processor. So all that said and done, I've got 4 display model Galant laptops because we have 4 service centers, if you can catch that in the opening segment. We have 4 service centers. They each have a display Galant laptop. Each service center, therefore, has to get rid of that display. Now, what should we do with them? We could donate them. We could do other things. Some of them have been up for longer than others. Some of them have been up for a year. Some of them have been up for a year and a half. Some of them have been up for a few months. Just depends. So what we're going to do is we're going to clear out those display models. This is not on the website. This is not. This was kind of a last-minute decision last night where I was thinking, I got a bunch of bad news this week on this show. I need to have some good news. I need to have something that people are like, hey, that's cool. I want to do that. So if you were thinking about purchasing a laptop and you were maybe looking at the Galant laptop, the previous model year, the one that we are phasing out right now, we have our display models $100 off on those. And there's only 4 of them. So you can check those out at the service centers. On the website, however, we still have 2 of those holiday special monitors on clearance from last year that we apparently, a lot of people upgraded to 27-inch monitors. And so like a dummy, I said, okay, I'm going to buy 150 cases. I'm going to buy 150 monitors. It didn't occur to me that some people might upgrade to a different monitor, and then I'm just left with these monitors. So we've got 2 of those left. All the others are gone. We have 2 left. If you want to check that out, it's like $189 over at Schrock Innovations on clearance. Originally, these monitors were $300 a piece. This is the holiday special monitor with the webcam that's mounted to the top with the microphone, the USB ports on the side. It's in the blue light, easy eye stuff. It's a really, really, really nice monitor, which is what you'd expect from the holiday special. 402-558-1110, 888-250-2091 is the number to join us on the program. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, guys, we're going to go into the iMoveit data breach. What happened? What's going on? Is there anything that anybody could have done different here? Next up after that, we're going to talk a little bit about what kind of data the government is actually buying from third-party data brokers about you, and how they're aggregating it, how they're de-anonymizing it, and what you can do about it to prevent that from happening. Also, data recovery prices coming down. We're going to tell you about that on the program. So we have a lot to get done, guys. Looking for your calls as well. 402-558-1110. More of the program coming up next.
If you can dream it, Schrock Interactive's website developers can make it happen. Refresh your website, automate sales and marketing, and grow your business today with Schrock Interactive. Every person listening to this broadcast has either experienced data loss or knows someone who has. When you think about it, you have a lot more data stored in many more places than you'd like to admit. Have you downloaded those videos from your phone, backed up the pictures on your iPad, or even tackled that sometimes daunting task of backing up your entire computer's hard drive? Most people just don't back up their stuff, and that's why Schrock Innovations has one of the most advanced data recovery centers in the Midwest. Equipped with the latest DDI data imaging devices, state-of-the-art custom recovery software, and Omaha's best data recovery technicians, Schrock Innovations has a 96.8% success rate when recovering data from damaged hard drives, flash drives, camera cards, and more. We all know we should back up our data, but if you are ever caught in a data loss nightmare, call the experts at Schrock Innovations to get your data back right where it belongs, safe and backed up on a stable hard drive. Compute This Pro Tip 578. Technology is constantly changing, so how can you tell when the time has come to recycle your old outdated computer and invest in a new one? Experts have rules of thumb and formulas, but Schrock believes the answer is simple. You should replace your old computer when it can no longer do the things you need in a secure way. For example, you should not be using operating systems like Windows XP or Vista because they're no longer maintained by Microsoft and they're not secure. And if your computer cannot run Windows 10, it's probably time to begin saving for a replacement. If your existing computer requires a repair and that cost is 50% or more of the cost of a new computer, it might be time to consider a replacement. But keep in mind, additional costs like data transfers and important software you have to upgrade like genealogy software or Quicken. And also keep in mind that modern computers are engineered to last 18 months for a normal user. And don't worry, you are considered a normal user. Schrock modular PCs and solid-state laptops are specifically designed to last 4 to 6 years for that same normal user, saving your family money and time. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, guys, trucking on. Listening to Compute This. My name's Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. We've got those 4 service centers to help you out with your computer problems. The whole reason this program is here, guys, is because of Schrock Innovations. It's crazy that in January it's going to be 25 years. 25 years. Most people don't go to prison that long, you know. Yeah, like 25 years. So, you know, this year for the holiday special, we're looking like it's gotta be bigger. It's gotta be better. How do you get bigger and badder than selling it for cost, right? We got some ideas. We're actually building prototypes right now, trying to get ready for this. So, and we hit the normal hiccups. Like we had a case that came in and it doesn't have a way to mount a card reader. The old ones the old Fractal cases had like an adapter for that came with the case, and not this one. And it was cool. It was like a little tuxedo white. It was like a black case with white trim. It looked like it was dressed up for prom. I was like, this is a studly little case. It's not going to work out. So, we run into these things when we're building the holiday special, but the technology inside of it, we're going to be benchmarking it this week for the first time. And we're very, very, very excited because this computer, if you know what a Threadripper processor is, that's what I have at home. It's supposed to be like the biggest, baddest. It's a Threadripper. The processor is like the size of like a graham cracker. You know those like the 4 crackers that come together? It's just huge. It's massive. You put it on the thermal paste with a syrup bottle. I mean, it's like, and then you put the fan on it. I mean, it's huge. Yeah, the holiday special smokes my computer with my Threadripper. And it doesn't have a Threadripper, which is really frustrating because I paid $1,000 just for that chip. just so I could have a Threadripper. And now it's not ripping any threads. 402-558-1110. Sad story. I guess I'll have to buy the holiday special. 888-250-2091. Now, you may have heard it was weird that this was reported. It was reported by the major news outlets. I hit ZDNet, which is like my go-to tech source for all kinds of technology things. And I've noticed lately that ZDNet is becoming more and more like, the top 10 earbud devices, and of course there's links to Amazon for each one. It's a sales thing, read the little review, click the link to check it out on Amazon, and then they get a commission if you buy it. And it's like, okay, I get it. You got to make money. Advertising is down, so you're doing it through content. I get it. No big deal. But at least keep your news there. Why is it that a massive government security breach has happened? And I go to ZDNet, the leading online reporting site for technology news, and I click on the security tab, and there's no stories. I can read all day long about USB condoms, but I can't see what happened with. I have to go to ABC News or NBC News to get the canned, press report about what happened, and then I've got to go read the freaking white papers and all these things. I don't have time to do this, but I need someone to summarize it for me so that I can then summarize it even better for you, right? So I had to go back and do all the research. Here's what happened. iMoveit is kind of like Dropbox. iMoveit allows large organizations to transfer documents from one place to another securely, supposedly, and quickly. And so basically, it's the same thing as Dropbox or OneDrive or what you would use, except it's secure and it's encrypted. And so lots of large companies, like big companies, the BBC uses this. The airlines use it. I mean, literally huge companies use this iMoveit software, and apparently most of the federal government uses it as well. So one of the things, and I'm not going to make this into a Secure Updater segment. I thought about it, but because Secure Updater doesn't update iMoveit, so it would be kind of weird, but this is exactly it. So a vulnerability was discovered in the iMoveit software that allowed a bad guy to access the documents that were located in the iMoveit directories. So what the ransomware, we've talked about ransomware in the past, and what ransomware does is it used to just encrypt everything. So guess what? If they encrypted everything in the iMoveit drive, that would be bad enough. But now, because so many people are so good about backing up, what they're doing instead is they're actually stealing the data from the directory and then encrypting it. So the agency that created the data no longer has access to it, and the bad guys have the data. So their intent was to attack Fortune 500 companies here, and then whoops, the U.S. government uses this too, and they stole a ton of data from the U.S. government. What happened to the last ransomware company from Russia, REvil, that decided to steal a bunch of data from a pipeline company and shut down a pipeline and made Joe Biden look bad? when energy prices were going up, and then we shut down a pipeline because of a ransomware attack out of Russia, of all places. Ooh, yeah, that stuff got shut down. There were black bag teams picking people up. I mean, it was rough. So immediately, the organization responsible for this hack immediately announces, no worries, do not fear. If you are a government entity and we had any of your data, rest assured we deleted it all. Of course you did. This time around, they didn't send individual ransom demands to individual. This is how we know all the companies that were impacted. They posted on a darknet website, here's everybody that we compromised. You better get a hold of us, and here's how to get a hold of us, or we're going to leak all of your documents online. Now, I'm sure that they've got like the same team that probably looked through all of Donald Trump's documents to see which ones were classified and which ones weren't. They've got those guys. Those guys are in Russia right now, pouring through this treasure trove of stolen U.S. government documents, looking for anything that might be government, so they could take and do the responsible thing and delete it. Of course, no one's doing that. Come on, this stuff is out there, guys. And tell you what, if you're a government actor, if you're a state actor, and you know that this ransomware organization has a treasure trove of U.S. documents from literally every department of the United States government, are you not going to reach out? Hey, Sergey, how you doing? Aren't you going to reach out? Like, what would it cost a guy? Can I have those? Maybe, how's your wife and your kids? Are you sure? Yeah? You better check. Yeah, right now. Like, pick up the phone and call them because they're not good. Give me the documents. I mean, that's what's going to happen. I've watched Jack Reacher. I know how these things work. 402-558-1110, 888-250-2091. So this document, this data is gone. This data is lost. It's in the wind. So now it's a matter of the government figuring out exactly what data was lost. There isn't going to be any consequences for anybody involved because they're not in the United States. There's not going to be, no one's underwear drawers are going to be searched. There's no one's going to be indicted. It's just going to be another, whoops, we lost the data. Sorry, says the federal government. And it's one thing to sit here and claim that every document created by the United States government that has a classification symbol on it is a vital national security secret that, if seen by the wrong person, could end the flipping world. Now, I'm sure there are some documents that are like that. There are some really embarrassing things. Look at those cables that got released in the WikiLeaks thing. That was pretty embarrassing. It didn't end the world, but it was pretty embarrassing. Everybody saying the true part out loud of what they thought of each other. It's kind of revealed. It was kind of like an intervention, It was kind of nice. And then the government turns around and loses some documents because they just can't be bothered to secure things properly. And they all use a single third-party application that had a vulnerability. So was it the government's fault they got their documents stolen? Probably not in this case, honestly. They were using a third-party system to share the documents. I appreciate the government not deciding to build their own classified infrastructure document upload cloud application and using the private sector to leverage what's there already. I like that about the U.S. government doing these things. However, there should be some consequences to the company that makes iMoveit, because I understand that this was a vulnerability that I'm sure it was in the terms of service. You agree, if we lose your stuff, it's no big deal. But then again, there should be some contracts that are lost here, or something should happen, because this was a significant breach and it was an avoidable breach. So with that in mind, I think there should be some consequences, but of course those consequences are not going to fall on the bureaucrats. They're going to fall to the company that probably loses the contract to store the government documents, and might actually lead to additional taxpayer dollars being used to create a new government-owned document cloud service. And maybe that's what we should have had to begin with for the super secret stuff if this stuff was really bad. I'll leave that up to you to decide. 402-558-1110. Going to take a quick break. When we come back, Carolyn, your call, as well as you probably heard the story about the government buying all of your data from third-party data brokers. What exactly can you buy out there right now? What kind of data can I buy about you, Carolyn? Well, I'm going to tell you guys coming up next on Compute This.
Drive Advisor is a free program from Schrock Innovations that monitors your hard drive's health and tells you if it's going bad. Download it for free at driveadvisor.com.
Remember the good old days when virus detection worked like Where's Waldo? Spot the virus in the striped shirt and you win. Today's infections are changing hourly to avoid detection and use social engineering to trick you into making mistakes. Using yesterday's security to defend against today's threats is like using leeches to stop an infection. It just doesn't work. We recommend Sophos Intercept X, antivirus backed by Schrock's virus-free guarantee. Sophos uses the power of AI to detect the patterns of a virus attack and responds with Schrock's custom actions that stop it fast. With Sophos on your PC, Mac, Android, or iOS device, you get the state-of-the-art protection you need to defend against the most advanced attacks out there. In fact, if your device gets a virus while running Sophos antivirus, Schrock will remove it for free, guaranteed. It hasn't happened yet, and we intend to keep it that way. Ditch your dad's antivirus and keep your device, data, and identities safe with Sophos and Schrock Innovations.
Compute This Pro Tip 178. Those little life-saving surge protector strips are vital to your computer's health and should be used whenever possible, even for laptops. As computers get smaller and more powerful, they're also becoming more sensitive to dirty power, and your power is a lot dirtier than you might think. Even if you have a whole home surge protection, most power surges are generated within your own home. If you've ever vacuumed and seen the lights get dimmer and brighter, you created a surge. Surge protectors can only absorb so much energy measured in joules. When that capacity is exhausted, your surge protector becomes a glorified extension cord and needs to be replaced. You should always look for surge protectors that give audible alerts when they're no longer able to protect your equipment. Schrock recommends these because the lights on most strips are just power lights and they don't tell you when it's time to replace the unit. If in doubt, replace your surge protectors annually to keep your expensive TVs, computers, and other electronic equipment safe. This pro tip is brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Oh, good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Welcome back into Compute This. My name's Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. We're here until the top of the hour to help you out with your computer problems. 402-558-1110 is the number to join us. During the break, some of the greatest stuff happens during the break, guys. We were talking, Roger and I were talking about, we can't get the audible alert surge protectors anymore. The ones that you just heard about in the commercial. Like, we can't, they literally don't make them anymore. So, and we're on the waiting list. If somebody picks up the design and starts making them again, we will get them first, but we just can't. So we're evaluating other ones. And so, we go, and of course, they're all made in China. There's not one you can't get that's made in China. So we're having these surge protectors sent to us as samples, and we're looking at them because we got to order 10,000 of them to have custom boxes and everything done and everything else. So we're looking at these samples, and we're opening them up to see if what they're advertising on the box is actually inside the surge protector, or if, like a lot of the ones that you buy at like the hardware store and stuff, it's not everything exactly it's cracked up to be. Some of these surge protectors, they have hand soldered wires inside that with inconsistent amounts of solder connecting the wires to the different rails for power. I'm like, if you're going to run a lamp off of this, or maybe a computer printer, I think you'd be fine. But if you ran anything on this that pulled any amount of power, this thing is going to melt. This is going to catch on fire. Well, they say, no, it won't, because it's got a 10 amp breaker on it to prevent that from happening. But I don't see the breaker. They're telling me it's built into the switch. And I'm like, is it though? It really just looks like a switch to me. I mean, I didn't disassemble the switch to see what's inside the switch, but I'm pretty sure it's just a switch. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a little campfire one of these days over at Schrock. We're gonna set up one of my old Bitcoin Antminers, the ones that run on 110 watt or 110 volt, and we're gonna run that sucker. We're gonna pull. Each one pulls 9 amps, so we're gonna have to hook up 2 of them. We're gonna pull 18 amps through that surge protector, and this will. If you have like a standard power cord for a computer, this will literally, that amount of power on one miner would melt the power cord. Literally, it would melt and then go pop and blow the breaker. So we're gonna pull 2 of those worth through the surge protector. It's supposed to trip its breaker because it's a 10 amp breaker. So if we pull 18 amps through a 10 amp breaker, it should trip pretty quick. If it doesn't trip, it's going to catch on fire. Either way, it's going to make a great video. So I'm looking forward to that. 402-558-1110. Carolyn, welcome to the program. How can I help you today on Compute This?
Hi, Thor. It's Carolyn in Round Rock, Texas.
Oh, hey, Carolyn. Thank you for joining us.
Hi. Always. Okay, so a while back, I bought an iPad. And so before I started using it, I sent it up to you guys.
Yep.
And you put Sophos on it for me. And just yesterday, I was noticing on my iPhone that I have a Sophos app. It's Sophos Intercept X.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I can't get Sophos on my iPhone unless I send it to you guys, and I've never done that because I can't be without my phone first.
Well, yeah.
Because you refuse to open a store in Round Rock.
Well, you know, there can be a way around us. We might be able to get that installed on your iPhone. Now, the trick is, for security reasons, the reason we need to have the device present is because we have to scan a QR code that is generated on the fly. So when you're installing it, it generates a QR code. Then we scan it with your camera's phone, right? Well, we can have you take a screenshot of the QR code on your phone and email it to us, and then we can scan it at the shop. There's a workaround for that. So we might be able to help you out with that. But, you know,
So,
I know
why do I have this app? Is it because my phone is synced to my iPad?
Bingo.
Is that, do I actually have Sophos on this phone?
This is a great question because a lot of people, this happens to people who have Sophos on their mobile device and they get a new phone and they do the transfer and it moves the apps over and they see that Sophos transferred and they're like, yay, it transferred, but you're not protected unless we scan the QR code for that device. That's what's different about Apple devices. We have to, when you have an iPhone and an iPad, it's going to download all of your apps to both devices. And so what we need to do is we need to activate the Sophos on that phone or that device in order for it to begin protecting the device. So that's what the QR code is for. That's why we have to scan it on each device.
Oh, cool. So I'll just call the one of the shops. Omaha is usually who I talk with.
I know you normally
and get
go to
that
Omaha.
done tomorrow.
Normally you go to Omaha.
I do.
In this case, though, I would probably encourage you to call Des Moines.
Des Moines. Okay.
'Cause the reason why is Chris is the manager. He's the senior technician in that service center, and he is our Sophos administrator. So he knows more about Sophos than anybody in the company, even me. Like when they're having like an Ask Me Anything, I send him the link because he'll go in there and ask questions, and they're like, "Well, let me get back to you. We're gonna have to circle back on that," you know. So yeah, Chris is definitely your go-to for that. So you know, the guys in Omaha can probably get it done for you, but I just to be on the safe side, Chris in Des Moines would definitely be a go-to for that.
Super. Okay. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Carolyn.
Love your show as always.
Thank you very much.
Have a
And
good
I've
day.
recorded your vote for Round Rock. We've got that one in for you. Now we got votes for Grand Island and Round Rock. And somebody the other day called in and asked for one in the Villages in Florida. And I'm like, oh, okay. You know, not quite to that age yet, but, you know, maybe if I go there, you know. 402-558-1110 is the number to join us on the program. All right. So it's no secret that we leave a trail of data breadcrumbs behind us wherever we go on the internet. Not only that, when we live our daily lives, we are leaving a trail of breadcrumbs behind us. Did you go to the gas station this morning and buy a cup of coffee? Did you use your debit card? Well, Visa and MasterCard know that you bought a cup of coffee at that gas station at a specific time. My F-150 is a 2022 F-150. It's got the navigation package in it. It's getting smart about where I go because it will predict what my next destination is and then give me the estimated time, including traffic delays, that's going to take for me to get there. A very convenient feature to have if you're trying to get someplace on time. A creepy feature when you realize that the Ford Motor Company has, through the Connected Car Initiative, collected enough data about where I go and how I drive, not only to figure out where I'm going next, but the best way to get there for me, based on how I drive. Let's go further. Did you pay your gas bill this month? Guess what? Your utility company has a record of how you pay your gas bill and how much gas you use, and they sell that data. Now, of course, each entity will sell their data completely anonymized. The gas company doesn't say this is how much gas Thor Schrock used. This is how much gas was used at, this residence. And this was how it was paid for. And then, my cup of coffee at the gas station. They don't say, that Thor Schrock came in here and bought a cup of coffee with his MasterCard. They say the cup of coffee was purchased with a MasterCard here at this time. And then if you get enough data points together, if you get enough of these life breadcrumbs together, when my F-150 says, yeah, he usually goes to the gas station about this time every day. Well, all of a sudden you can kind of figure out that this car that belongs to Thor goes to the gas station about this time every day. And about this time every day, somebody buys a cup of coffee with a MasterCard. It might be Thor's MasterCard. And then we can look at that MasterCard and say, look, that's how he pays his utility bill. And now we have de-anonymized all that data. We have made it so that whoever owns all of that data knows exactly what you're doing, when you're doing it, and how you're doing it. Now, if you were the U.S. government and you wanted to determine Thor Schrock's habits, where he goes, who he talks to, when he goes there, what he buys, what he does in his home, how much energy he uses, the U.S. government has to get a warrant for that. It's kind of in the Constitution thing, that docu that we've got under glass somewhere. It says that, you can't just know these things about me. You have to get a search warrant. You have to have a probable cause, you have to have a reason to suspect me of something to get this information. The U.S. government says this information is now open source. It's available everywhere online. All you have to do is buy it. So we're going to charge you taxes, Mr. Schrock, that you can pay to the U.S. government, and then we're going to take your taxes and use that to buy your personal information about you so that we can just know it. Now, do we really care what time you buy a cup of coffee? No. Do we care what time Compute This comes on? No. Do we care if you're going, do you go to the Papillion shop or do you go home after the show? What time do you typically leave the radio station? We don't care about any of these things. And they don't care about it about you either until they do. And when they do care about it, they've got a database they can plug into and figure out exactly what's going on. Now, you would think to yourself, why on earth would that be important to me? Do I really care if anybody knows? Like, what are they going to say? Oh, no, all these people driving down Dodge Street at this time of day, they're in trouble. What about this group of people who were within the vicinity of the Capitol building on January 6th? And we can figure that out by credit card records, cell phone records, navigation records from vehicles, Uber check-ins. You're wanted as a person of interest or questioning in the January 6th matter. You may have had nothing to do with January 6th. You may have just been on a sightseeing tour. You may have been like, hey, I want to see the next guy get inaugurated into office. And you were saying, hey, look, let's go look at the Capitol building, kids. Yay. And then all of a sudden your children are felons just because they were in the neighborhood. And how do we know they were in the neighborhood? Because the friendly neighborhood U.S. government bought all the publicly available data, de-anonymized it, put it into one database so that if anything ever happens, they can go back and run a quick search without getting a warrant, without having to go to a FISA court, without having to do anything nasty or problematic. They can get the information on you that they need to track your butt down and put you in a cell without trial for over 2 years. Yeah. Problem yet? It's a big problem. So what do you do about it? Because you can't stop the U.S. government from buying this data. They're going to buy the data. Even if they say they're not going to buy the data, come on. They're going to buy the data. You know they are. So the only thing that you can do, and you could become Ted Kaczynski and you'll go live in a cabin up in Montana somewhere, never use the internet, chop your own wood for heat. You could do all these things. Let's be honest, we don't want to live that way, right? We don't want to live that 18th century lifestyle. So how do you live a 21st century lifestyle while still reducing the breadcrumbs that you're leaving on the trail? Because you can't eliminate them. You can't get rid of them, but you can dramatically reduce them through a few simple actions. And I'm going to tell you exactly how to do that. Number one, use a VPN on your device. This is especially important for mobile devices. Schrock does not have a VPN. We don't sell a VPN. I use ExpressVPN. It's about $100 a year. It's fast. It's good. It's got lots of nodes. I never have a problem with it. It protects my phone really well. Protects my, so basically what a VPN does, When I go and search for something, it sends my search to the VPN company, and then the VPN company sends my search on to somebody else. So if somebody tracks that search back, they end up at the VPN company. Now, is it possible if the VPN company was in on it? Of course. Help, the paranoids are out to get me. At some point, you have to trust somebody, okay? So you're taking a reasonable step. Just don't get a free VPN. Free VPNs are more trouble than they're worth, and usually they're run by nefarious organizations, groups, or people. Don't get a free one. Don't trust the ones that are bundled together with other products. Go buy a VPN if you want to run a VPN. Number 2, disable all location tracking devices, all location traffic. If I could talk, that would be great. I'm looking at the clock like, oh, I got to hurry. Disable all location tracking services on your mobile device, including your GPS. Disable it. You can do this right in the settings. Swipe down from the top on your Samsung device, turn off GPS. Have you ever used Google Maps ever in your life for anything on any device you've ever owned? Odds are yes. Do you know that means Google now records everywhere you go with that phone? It's called your location history, and they use it to better target advertising to you. But Google literally knows the exact place you have gone anytime you have gone anywhere ever since you first used Google Maps one time. You can delete that. You can go down into the settings and you can delete that. Doesn't do you any good to delete that huge bucket of history unless you turn it off, which means you can't use Google Maps. You literally can't use it. Like it frustrates my wife. She wants to use Google Maps. She tries to get on my phone, and Google Maps doesn't work right. We can't find your location. We can't do this. We can't do that. Yeah, I know that. I did that. I'll use it if I'm. Ford already knows everywhere I'm going because I'm in the truck, and there's nothing I can do about that. And it's got its own navigation system, so I'll use that one instead of Google Maps, and good to go. So just use one navigation system instead of multiple ones, even if you don't know you're using more than one. Don't use Google Chrome for anything, ever. Google Chrome literally tracks everything you do, just like Microsoft Edge does. So what should you use for a browser? Use a privacy-focused browser. Firefox is probably the most functional of the privacy-focused browsers. It's a nonprofit organization. They do get money from Google, though. They are sponsored by Google, so there's something and Yahoo, so there's something to think about there. However, there are other options like the Duck browser or the Brave browser. Those are browsers you can use that will help shield and protect your anonymity when you're using your internet because cookies, third-party cookies are a great way for me to collect information on you and de-anonymize it back to who you actually are. That's why cookies are so important to advertisers. It's not because they want to generically know how many people are looking for Oreos. They want to know if Thor wants an Oreo right now. Is he thinking about it? Well, then let's show him ads for Oreos because, fat is good. All right. Next up, be thoughtful on your social media activity. I'm not going to tell you to never use social media because we all use it to some extent or another. But be aware that every time you post to social media, your IP address is recorded, your location is recorded by the social media company, and the fact that your eyeballs are on the screen is recorded. They know if you're sleeping. They know if you're awake. They know if you've been bad or good because you're posting it on social media. So be thoughtful about what you post on social media and make sure you take the time to restrict your social media settings, like your Facebook settings, so that your profile is private. You don't need to show up in the searches. If somebody really wants to find you, they can look you up in the phone book. Or you could just, call a friend and call a friend. They don't need to be able to find you on Facebook if you don't want to be found. Because if you leave it open, anybody can find you and scrape your data. Let's see. On your computer, if you use a PC, I want you to hit start, that start button, type the word privacy. Every single slider on that page should be set to off. If you bought a computer from Schrock, that's how you got it. Now, if you've received an update from Microsoft since then, they may have turned a few of those little things back on, like your advertising ID, or that it's okay to share anonymous data with Microsoft. Everyone's okay with anonymous data, right? We just explained how anonymous data, when you get enough anonymous data, can become de-anonymized. Well, don't share anything. I don't share usage reports. I don't share logs. I don't share improvements for products. I don't share nothing because I don't trust anybody anymore. So don't share anything. Hit start, type privacy, turn it all off. Use cash or checks whenever you can. I'm going to tell you, small businesses don't have a problem with this. Although it is truly funny when you pay cash to like a young person and they look at you like, dude. Like I shared a story this last Thursday on the radio about my wife bought me an $1,800 cell phone from Best Buy. She walked in with $1,800 bills, and they asked her if she was a drug dealer. She had a 5-year-old with her. She's like, yeah, I deal meth. I mean, come on, man. I'm buying my husband a phone for Christmas, you know. No one pays with cash. She's like, only drug dealers and criminals pay with cash. Well, be a drug dealer or a criminal, pay with cash because it can't be tracked. It can't be traced. If it's a larger purchase like $1,800, you may not want to carry that much cash with you. Use a check, especially if you're with a community bank. It's just one more layer, one more. When you use the Visa, the MasterCard, the Amex, when you use the credit card, it is instantly trackable, as we have learned from all the gun stores that are being shut down and all their records are being snatched up by the government because people use credit cards there. So if you're buying from a gun store, especially something like that, never use your credit card. Always pay cash or check. Avoid free email. This is going to be a hard one. I want you to avoid all free email. No more Gmail. No more Yahoo. No more AOL. Stop. If you're not paying for it, you are the product. How do you think Gmail just released a service this week that will predict what you're going to type before you type it and write your emails for you? It will literally write replies to your emails for you and suggest them. Why do you think it knows what you're going to say? If it knows what you're going to say, it kind of knows what you're thinking, right? If it knows what you're thinking, it can estimate how you're going to respond to things. Also, really helpful in knowing what ads to show you next, right? That's, of course, why we're doing this. But you take that little bit of data, you add it with all the other publicly available data, because you better believe Google's buying all that data too. The DoubleClick network is totally buying all that data. But they're going to give you $8 for that cup of coffee because they stole your data before they bought it. They can't steal it. They'll at least buy it. But for the price of a cup of coffee, we got all your personal data for like 6 years. What a deal. It's a steal. So, yeah, unfortunately, you're going to have to go pay for email. You're going to have to go get a Reagan.com account or a Proton Mail account, one of these secure encrypted email accounts that are out there. And they do exist. They're not expensive. They're less than the VPN is going to cost you. But then it's your email. You have your own email, and no one has access to it but you. There's something valuable in that. And then lastly, when you use your search engines, stop using Google. Stop using Bing. Stop using Yahoo. Switch to a privacy-focused search engine like DuckDuckGo. It's tough at first. I'm 100% honest with you. I forced myself to switch to Duck about 2 years ago. And at first, I was so good at Google. I literally won a contest once for how fast you could search on Google for something, because I know what Google wanted to get from me so I could get what I wanted from it. And it's a little bit different on Duck. But here's the thing. On the Duck search engine, they're not going to remove links that they disagree with. Now, they may, things that they think are as misinformation, malinformation, stuff like that, they may deprioritize those links. They may be down a few more places in the search results, but they're there. So if you want to go see, so what I'm doing, show prep, I'm using the Duck browser and the Duck search engine because a lot of the stories I want to talk about run counter to the government narrative. So do a search, do a side-by-side with Google and Duck. And search for something controversial like, do masks work? Or is the COVID-19 vaccine dangerous? And you will get two completely different set of results. Which one is true? You'll have to read the results and decide that for yourself. But I'm going to tell you, if you're using a publicly available search engine, everything, when you type something into the Google search bar and then backspace it out without hitting enter, Google knows you typed that. They know what you're thinking. You don't even have to hit enter. Duck doesn't do that. Again, breadcrumbs. Small things you can do, little changes you can make that will have an outsized impact on the amount of data floating around on the internet about you. 402-558-1110, 888-250-2091. Got to take our final break here. It'll be a quick one, guys. When we come back, those data recovery prices are coming down because unlike Google, we can't steal your data. We have to recover it, get it back for you because you lost it. And we're doing it for less. And we'll tell you about it coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations Data Recovery Lab saves the data the other guys can't. The next time your hard drive, camera card, or flash drive fails, let Schrock get your data back. External hard drives are handy. You can back up multiple computers to them or even use them to move lots of data from one computer to another. Computer users have been buying the same old external hard drives for years. While our computers have been getting faster, we still do backups that take hours or watch epic progress bars creep by to move files. Schrock wanted more for our customers, so our innovators created the fastest external hard drives on the planet. Schrock modular storage devices are up to 50% faster than Seagate or Western Digital externals and are modular in the truest sense of the word. We can create whatever size and speed of drive you need for all of your needs, and all modular storage devices come with a data restoration guarantee. If you use our drives for backing up and your computer's hard drive fails, we'll restore your backup to your repaired computer for free. Fast, simple, and flexible technology solutions from Schrock Innovations. It's what we do. Compute This pro tip number 753. Have you ever wondered how the bad guys always seem to find a way into your computer? Gone are the good old days of email worms and I love you viruses. Nobody wants to steal your data anymore, or in many cases even your identity. Today's cyber criminals want to sell access to your computer or hold your data for ransom. The bad guys are exploiting zero-day vulnerabilities to break into systems that are supposed to be hack-proof. These vulnerabilities are always newly discovered, and the criminals have a brief time to exploit them before they get patched. Antivirus and firewalls do not prevent these attacks, but you can minimize your computer's exposure by installing all security patches as quickly as possible. The average computer needs 12 patches a week. That's not including the ones that are automatically delivered to your computer. Boost your cybersecurity by staying on top of it manually, or use a patch installation program like Secure Updater to get your computer the patches it needs. This pro tip is brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, guys, final segment here on the program. Right now, Carolyn, you're going to be the winner here of the $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate as the only caller on the program so far. We got Aftershock coming up after this, guys. A lot has happened this week. There's been so much in the news, and I'd love to hear what you have to say about it. So after the program is over, give me about 5 or 6 minutes to reset. Then we'll get the live stream going for the Aftershock. If you have trouble, if you don't get the notification, last week a lot of people reported that Facebook wasn't notifying them when the Aftershock came up. And I'm like, oh man, are we in jail? What happened? But you can always find it really easily just by going to facebook.com/Schrock Innovations, and then you can just hit refresh. And if it's live, it's live. And if it's not, it's not, you know. But just give me a few minutes to reset and get set up in there. We were just talking, Roger and I, during the break. Again, the best stuff. We could can what we do in the commercial breaks and sell it on the side. It could be like a side hustle for us. Data recovery prices are coming down. Roger's like, Thor, you're only going to have 2 minutes to talk about that. I'm like, oh, that's good because it's incredibly exciting. And he goes, Thor, anytime prices are coming down for anything anymore, it's exciting. I'm like, yeah, it's like cancer treatments are 50% off. I'm going to go buy a pack of Marlboros, you know. You never want data recovery, just like you don't want cancer. But at Schrock Innovations, we've got some new equipment that is making the job of getting your data back a little bit easier in some cases, which means that normally data recovery costs between $400 and $1,600. So $400 is the minimum. That's what you're going to pay bare minimum just to get access to the equipment. $1,600 is almost like a worst case scenario. Go a little bit higher if you have a crazy big hard drive. Well, that $1,600 has now become $1,200 because of the tools and equipment and training that we have at Schrock Innovations that we've improved in the last year. So good news there on prices coming down a little bit. I hope you never need our data recovery service, but if you do, it's here for you and it's local. Carolyn, congratulations. You're the winner. Everybody else, stay tuned for the Aftershock coming up next, and we'll see you at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations.